So you're getting married in Thailand. That's incredible. It's such an exciting time. But there's one really important conversation that a lot of couples just skip, and it's all about money. Today, we're going to dive into how one single document can literally set the financial blueprint for your future together, giving you clarity and, honestly, a lot of peace of mind. And this is the elephant in the room, isn't it? What happens to all your stuff, your assets, if things don't go as planned? I know, it's an uncomfortable thought. But here's the thing. Ignoring it doesn't make the question go away. Because if you don't set the rules for your marriage, the law in Thailand already has a set of default rules waiting for you. So, before we can even talk about prenups, we have to understand the starting point. This is the legal foundation, the default setting, that automatically applies to every single married couple in Thailand the second you're officially married, unless you decide to create a plan of your own. Right. So this default system is the law's standard way of handling everything. And it works by sorting all of your property, all of your assets, into two very, very distinct categories. And trust me, understanding this division is the key to everything else. Okay, first up is something called Sin Suan Tua. This is basically your personal property. The easiest way to think about it is it's everything you bring into the marriage. A house you already owned, the savings you had before the wedding, or even a family inheritance you get while you're married. All of that stuff stays yours and only yours. And the second category is called Sin Samros. This is the marital property. Now, this covers all the stuff you acquire during the marriage, which makes sense. But, and this is the critical part that catches so many people off guard, it also includes any income that comes from your personal property. Let's make this super clear with an example, because this is where it can get a little fuzzy. Let's say you own a condo before you get married. That condo is your personal Sin Suan Tua. But the rent money you collect from that condo after you get married, that rent becomes marital Sin Sum Ros. Your salary that you earn during the marriage, that's Sin Sum Ros too. But if your parents give you a cash gift while you're married, that stays as your personal Sin Suan Tua. Getting this difference right is absolutely essential. So what's the big deal? Well, here's the punchline. If there's a divorce, your personal property, your Sin Suan Tua, you keep that. But all of the marital property, the Sin Som Ros, it gets split right down the middle. Yep, a 50-50 split. It doesn't matter who earned it or whose name is on it. And for a lot of people, that is a massive financial risk to just leave to chance. So if that default 50-50 split doesn't really sit right with you or your situation, how do you get out of it? Simple. You make your own rules. And that, my friends, brings us to the solution, a prenuptial agreement. In Thai, it's called a Sanyakan Somrash, which literally just means contract before marriage. Now look, a prenup is not about expecting the marriage to fail. It's about creating clarity from day one. It lets you protect your assets, sure, but it can also protect you from your partner's debts. It spells out who's responsible for what financially. And if things do go wrong, it makes the whole separation process way faster, way cheaper, and a whole lot less painful. It's just smart financial planning. Okay, but here is the critical part. You can't just scribble something down on a napkin and call it a prenup. For this thing to actually hold up in a Thai court, you have to follow a very strict set of rules. And if you get even one of them wrong, the whole document could be completely worthless. So for a prenup to be legit, there's a 4-step checklist. Number 1, it's gotta be in writing. Number 2, both of you have to sign it. 3, you need at least 2 witnesses to sign it too. And number 4, and this is the big one that trips people up, the prenup must be registered at the district office, the AMFR, at the exact same time you register your marriage. Not a day later, at the same time. And hey, don't just take my word for it. The law is incredibly specific. The Thai Civil and Commercial Code says the agreement is void if not entered in the marriage register at the time of marriage. That means if you do it the next day, it's void. If you just forget to bring the papers with you, it's void. There is absolutely zero wiggle room on this point. It has to happen together. It's also really important to know what you can and can't actually put in a Thai prenup. You can absolutely lay out how you want to divide assets and who's on the hook for any debts, but you cannot include anything about child custody or child support. Those issues are decided by the family courts, and their number one and only priority is the child's best interest. Okay, so let's say you followed the rules. You're not out of the woods yet. There are still some really common pitfalls that can completely undo all of your hard work and put you right back into that default 50-50 world. For example, thinking you can just have a verbal agreement? Yeah, that's completely unenforceable. Worthless. registering the prenup even an hour after the marriage. As we said, it's invalid. And here's another big one. The agreement has to be fair. If a judge looks at it and decides the terms are totally one-sided or against good morals, they can just toss the whole thing out. This isn't about one person winning. It has to be a fair mutual agreement. So let's just reframe how we think about this whole thing. A prenup is not about planning for a divorce. It's about building a marriage on a foundation of total transparency and mutual understanding. It's really an act of financial honesty that lets both of you walk into this amazing new chapter with true peace of mind. And that just leaves us with one last question for anyone thinking about getting married, really anywhere in the world. Having this conversation isn't about inviting conflict into your relationship. It's about removing one of the biggest potential sources of conflict from your future. And that's a pretty powerful way to make sure you can focus on what really matters, building a great life together.